What if I told you that sales and customer service are just like dating? So, the same mistakes that you make when you ruin that first date can be the same things that cause you to lose customers. That's going to be our topic today. And today I have with me Andy Masters. So, welcome to our show, y'all. It's Success Through Connections. Don't forget, you need to subscribe to the show. So, I told you the today that we have Andy Masters with us, and I like to start our show off by telling people how I know the person that I'm interviewing. So Andy and I go way back. Okay, way back, probably over 20 years. And I met him through a speakers association, and he was actually my very first mentor. He was back then he wasn't even called a coach. He was called a consultant. He was my consultant. I still have the contract, Andy. I have the contract. So he was my consultant and he gave me my very first speaking opportunity. Yeah, I think it was my first one. He was supposed to be the keynote opening speech for the mayor of Boca Raton. I believe it was in Boca or Delray, one of those two cities down in South Florida. And he called me up and he said, Zelda, I have a conflict. Would you like to step in? And of course, they were happy to have someone step in. I don't know if he even remembers this, but I have always remembered it and have been very grateful ever since that he gave me that opportunity because you know darn well, I said, yes, I will step in. So I did
Success
that.
through
So
connections. That's success
absolutely.
right there.
It's all about the connection. So now let me tell you about Andy. Andy is a phenomenal. He is an award-winning author and he is an international speaker. He's given over 250,000 attendees his motivational and inspiring speeches, over 1,000 programs. He's written not one, not two, not three, but 5 books. He has authored one of the books that I want to talk about today is Kiss Your Customer: 77 Reasons Why Sales and Service Are Just Like Dating and Relationships. But he's got a new book out, y'all, and it's called Things Leaders Say: A Daily Guide to Help Every Leader Empower and Inspire. Now, Andy's been featured in magazines, on television, Lifetime television, PBS, you name it, he's been there. And I can just say, welcome, Andy.
Well, that is a fantastic introduction. My goodness. I hope I can live up to all that. Great to be here, Zelda. Great to see you again. And wow, thanks for, I guess, jarring my memory on the mayor event that I passed along. I actually do remember that now. Thank you so much.
Was the
Great.
mayor of Delray. It was the mayor's annual breakfast. That's what it
Yep,
was. Yep. And I still got the program.
that's great.
I save everything. I'm not a pack rack, but I do save a few things. So I want to talk to you today about the sales and service and how it's like dating. And I thought, how does your book compare sales and service to dating and relationships?
Sure. Well, when you think about it, it's actually it was a lot of fun putting the book together. In fact, it was kind of a little bit of a joke, if you will. I've got to give some props to one of my all-time best friends in the world, Scott Ginsburg, up in Brooklyn. How you doing, bud? We actually stayed up all night and just brainstorming this crazy list of all of the incredible similarities between sales and service and dating and relationships. And what's amazing is we found that the same principles that breed success in your personal life also breed success with your clients and customers and prospects as well. So it's, of course, the value of first impressions, honesty, trust, and respect, making sure the other person feels appreciated and not and taken for granted, and all these amazing things. And when I came up with the book, of course, it's in the title, 77 reasons why sales and service are just like dating and relationships. Also things like, of course, learning how to face rejection. That's a really big one there. Is my favorite. Got a lot of experience in that one. And overcoming objections. It's a really incredible when you dive in there. So we had a lot of fun. So the book and the program, I really want to do two things. One, we're going to laugh about this. We're going to have fun. We're going to enjoy the topic. But wow, are there some powerful principles, and it sparks some incredible creativity about what you can do to strengthen relationships in both your business world and your personal world. So it's really near and dear to me. I told my wife I want to be buried with that book. I want it in my casket, please. There you go. So
Sure, she'll make
yeah,
that happen.
yeah, absolutely. Hope she remembers that.
So, what's one of the biggest dating mistakes that businesses make with customers that go along with maybe customer loyalty?
Yeah. So one of the biggest mistakes, yeah, and I'm just telling, we did not prep at all. Okay.
I know.
Any questions? Just want to let the
I
audience
came up
know
with
that.
these questions 20 minutes
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, exactly. So Here's one of the biggest mistakes that I love talking about this. It happens in the dating world and it also happens in sales. And so the dating I would call it's not really an app, it's called It's Just Lunch Dating. Okay. Very popular. Many people have used this, been around for years and years. They set people up, a lot of professionals for lunch dates and so forth. So they did a study and a survey, and they said that 75%, or I don't know exactly, 75% of women are turned off by men who talk about themselves too much in a first date. Okay. All right. So important for guys out there, fantastic on first date. But wait a second. In the sales world, what do people don't not like? They don't like salespeople or business representatives that talk about their product. We're the five-time Diamond Award winner. We've been around since 1964. With here's the features, advantages, and benefits. No, you know what? People want to be heard. People want to be asked about them. People want to be appreciated, and
Yeah.
people both sides. People want to understand. Hey, you know what? I'm unique. I'm different. Here's my challenges. Here's where I am at. Do you have anything that might help or whatever? So
So, like dating, you ask them about them.
you betcha. See, it's and I put gonna have a lot of funny examples in our program, but the movie 40-Year-Old Virgin, there's a fantastic segment in there about how to talk to women. Is just and I said that most people don't know how to talk to women, so keep asking them questions. Keep asking them questions. So when they answer one question, you're already thinking about the next question that you're going to ask. That's how you keep conversations going in sales and service or relationships. Get them talking, and then be a great listener. And how can I attach things that maybe I can relate to or even help with or whatever it might be in a conversation? So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I really do believe that's a part of the problem. We have to listen first and get information and let them talk first instead of blah, 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 blah. Okay, nobody likes that.
Interesting. And when you're saying that, I'm thinking of my son who's single. I wonder, do you talk about yourself a lot?
Hey, make sure you
I
show
don't
that
know.
chapter. Okay.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
my book. Yeah, I really should have this book ready to go. I think I got it somewhere. But yeah, so we'll get the right chapter for him to read for that. He should read the whole book anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what's more important in the customer experience? Is it consistency or surprise?
Ooh, okay. Consistency or surprise? That's a trick question. I've never been asked that one before. So the word surprise is one of my favorite words in relationships and in sales and service. So, for instance, I say, look, in relationships, don't, in fact, for all the gentlemen out there, hey, do me a favor. This next Valentine's Day, when it comes up, do not get your spouse or significant other a bouquet of flowers or a dozen roses for Valentine's Day. First of all, that's not a surprise. I mean, oh, is it February 14th? You're kidding. I had no idea. Okay, so come on. And secondly, you can do better. Okay, so that's what
Yes,
it
you can
says.
do better.
They're expecting it. Okay, here's what I want you to do, and this is my piece of advice. And they have what, at least from the time of this recording, several months to get ready for this. How about send a bouquet of flowers or a dozen roses to arrive the day before Valentine's Day, okay?
Okay.
With a card that says this: if you received these tomorrow, it wouldn't be a surprise. Besides, you deserve your roses before anyone else in America.
Ooh.
Let me know how that goes, okay? So now we're here talking about business, a lot of entrepreneurs on the line and so forth. Listen, we want to make sure that every single one of your customers, clients, and so forth knows that you appreciate them, your team loves them, that how can we and not take them for granted. So instead of holiday season sending them the basket of cheese or whatever we do, okay, it's when they're not expecting it and something personalized. Do they like, golf? Do they just get back from Italy? Whatever it might be. So what's something personalized that they can go, wow, boom. And in fact, instead of, golf balls or coffee mugs with your name on it, how about golf balls with their
Clear
company
name on it.
saying ABC Manufacturing Rocks or whatever it is. Like, that's the most creative I can come up with right there. So things that they would go, oh my gosh, wow, nobody's ever given this to us before. So fun, creative surprises, though,
That's
that's what keeps the spark in relationships on the business side as well. Not just the token, cheese basket at the end of the year. Yeah, stick it in the corner with the rest of them. Okay. So we need to make sure people understand that we appreciate you, we love you, we wouldn't be in business without you. We are ready to help serve you 24 hours a day. Let me know what you need, and here's how much we appreciate you.
You
Okay,
know,
so
here's one of the things I do with my clients is I always ask, like, when's their birthday? Like, I asked when your birthday was because you can expect the expected, a birthday card. I send birthday cards out. I like it. But one of the things I do with my real estate clients is I give them on intake, I give them a form to fill out that it says it's all about you. And I learn what kind of wine do you like? Do you have children? Where do you like to shop? And just all kinds of just different questions so that if and when I'm ready to give them a gift, I don't have to sit there and go, "Oh, what can I do to be creative?" They've given me the roadmap, and now it's up to me to come up with something.
yeah, and that's fantastic. And so, and in fact, that exact example, if we're going to, I'm sure there's a conversation that we can go off tangent a little bit in the world of leadership. Okay. So, it's my last book on leadership as well. And one of the things that I really want to impose on any company out there, because I'm a huge believer in positive work culture for many reasons.
Absolutely.
One of
Absolutely.
the simple things you can do is kind of what you just said, is that, 2 weeks before they start, when they're filling out maybe some HR paperwork or, insurance, whatever it might be, we should always have them fill out one piece of paper just about them. Or,
That
of course, that piece of paper, it certainly could be, online.
whatever. Yeah.
And it's like, hey, do you have a pet? What's your pet's name? What's your favorite restaurant in town? What's your kid's name? What hobbies do you have? And what's your favorite candy bar? Okay. So all these sorts of things so
Oh, I
that
never thought of that.
yeah. So now all of a sudden, a manager, obviously, if it's a small organization, the president, whatever it might be, they have at their disposal things that hey, thanks so much. We wouldn't have pulled this off last night if it wasn't for you. You rock. And it's a handwritten note with their favorite candy bar, or taking them out to their favorite restaurant, or whatever it might be. So we have those things in our back pocket, especially by the way, for their first day on the job too. That'll really impress them and take them to their favorite restaurant. So getting to know people. Yeah, obviously in
It's
the
all about those authentic connections, and you have to build it. It doesn't happen
yes.
instantly.
And you
Yeah.
gotta be great listeners and get some research and then act on it and strengthen those relationships that way. And you know what? It's fun to do these things.
It
It's
is fun.
you
It
really
is
get a kick
fun.
out of it.
And it could be something as simple. In fact, when you were saying that, I thought, "Oh, I need to add to my all about you. Do you prefer Starbucks or Dunkin'?" I mean, you can get a gift card for what, $5? I'm like,
Yeah,
it's
you
like,
bet. You gotta have that on file.
yeah, you used to be able to get a gas card for that, but
Back in
I
the day, that's right.
digress. Not anymore. So if there's I talk to a lot of small business owners. Are there and they're always very budget conscious. They don't want to break the bank. So like the Dunkin' Donut, and those are kind of gifts. But are there other things that you can do to give a wow experience, kind of like in dating without having to break the bank?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I call it, I mean, I had a whole, as a chapter and things I talked about in my programs. It's called 15 minutes or less, $15 or less, on how anybody can make an amazing impact in somebody's life with just 15 minutes or less of your time and $15 or less to your budget. Some of these are a couple things we've already mentioned before, which it could simply be, there's personalized, I talk about personalized chocolates you can buy online, and you can have, you can upload a photo, you can upload the company logo of your client, fun candies, understanding what their favorite candy might be, all those sorts of cool things for 15 minutes or less. And then just 15 minutes or less. So this could be, now this is, I'm going to take this a totally different direction really quick, is let's say you have, I'm a small business owner, tight on budget, as you said, and I've got, two, three, four, five, six special clients or prospects that are out there. One of the things I can do is, what does their business need? What are their biggest challenges? What are their biggest headaches? Are they completely understaffed and they have no idea how they're ever going to stay in business because they can't find anybody good to work for them? What can I do in my network to give them a couple resumes or personal recommendations? Or by the way, of course, what does every business need? Sales. So, what is something that I can, hey, let me see if I can connect you to a couple people that might do the you have roofing. Let me see if I can check with some of my neighbors and my HOA, see if we can get you involved in our subdivision, whatever.
You know, you
All
know.
these crazy things you can do that,
Yes.
which is free, by the way, just a little bit of time. You set up somebody with a new account or new sales, something like that. You've got a friend for life. So you don't have to be extravagant. Use your brain and ask, what do these people really need, or what would be amazing for them?
Kind of like referrals. It's like the date might not have worked out for you, but you might have a friend. I've done that, and they're still together 10 years later. So
Yep.
it's like, "You're not really right for me, but I've got somebody for you." That's called a referral.
That's and you know what, that's funny. That's a chapter in my book too, because I had that happen to me as well. So, that's making a great first impression, I guess. So,
Yeah, it's like they're good people, but they're just not for me, you know?
yeah, you bet. You bet.
Absolutely. So, what kind of advice can you give a leader that's maybe like winning back a lost love? Maybe they've lost a customer, the customer's walked away, or do you leave that in the back? Or if you really want that customer back because maybe you missed it somehow, what do you advise on that?
I'm gonna say 2 things. Obviously, it's situational a little bit here.
Right,
So,
right.
but 2 things. I really do believe a little bit that time heals wounds. Leave a door cracked open a little bit, and then whether it's 6 weeks or 6 months or however down the road, that is when I really believe, you know what? Mistakes are simply opportunities to strengthen relationships. And I don't mean to harp on our previous point, but this is when you send something like, in fact, again, I give a great example of it was a chocolate apology that I sent once when I was in the corporate world. It wasn't even me. I sent a chocolate apology to our client that said, "We're so sorry. Please don't bite my head off." And it was a picture of me that was chocolate. So it was edible. And what's crazy is that he goes later, this is 2 years later, he talked to me about this. He goes, "You're not gonna believe this, but you remember when you sent us that chocolate, picture of your face with the thing on?" I said, "Yeah."
Don't bite my head off.
And he goes, "We were really ticked off at you guys, and it's true." And but I opened that box and I started to laugh. And then what happened was I actually went and took the whole thing in the break room and said, "All right, let's go. Who wants it? I'll take his eye. Who wants his ear? And we just had a lot of fun with it.
What's his throat?
Yeah, yeah. So as we cut you all up and we ate you, and that was pretty good. And so that was the one thing, he totally remembered that. And so, we need to let's not be afraid to use some creativity and fun. I think I will say when a little bit of time passes. So, but just make sure you keep in some cordial periodic communication, but don't give up on a door opening in because at some point, people do realize that hey, their company makes mistakes too.
They
So
all make mistakes. Yeah.
it's how you handle and respond.
Yeah. My dad used to tell me when we weren't number 1 in the wholesale produce business, he said, "That's okay. You don't need to be number 1." He goes, "'Cause number 1 eventually will make a mistake and they'll fall down and make 1 customer mad and they'll go, 'Okay, we'll go after the next company and that will be you.'" And I'm like, "Okay." So it
Right.
didn't bother
So
me.
sometimes being number 2 is not so bad because
That's
number 1
right.
might knock themselves down to number
You don't have
3.
to fall so far.
That's right.
Wonderful. So in your book about things leaders say, okay, that's your new one. What's the one phrase or question that every leader should use daily to empower their team
Wow, the one phrase everyone should you can I cheat and get my book over here? The one phrase to empower their team, I'm going to
or inspire? What should they be
I think
doing?
okay, you're making me think on this one here. So, I would probably say I know it sounds weird, but you ready?
Yeah.
Could be something along the lines of, "This is your baby." What I mean by that is that too many times I'm a really big believer in leaders, especially small business owners, entrepreneurs, what is the hardest thing to do is to break away and trust, develop, empower, and delegate to people, and then recognize and appreciate them when they rock for you so that you can come up for air and have a 5-year plan or new technologies and new innovations and get out of the trenches that we're in so because we can't do
Amen.
anything because it's your butt and it's your baby. So therefore, it's like instead of like oh here do this, it's like you know what? So if you can anyway, you can tackle that project. Why don't you tell me what you think would be some good ideas on this one? We really need some help on this. I'm crazy over here. So you know what? This is your baby. Go for it. I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with.
You know
And
what that reminds me of? The book by Mel Robbins. Let them. Give it to them and let them.
yeah, let them. Okay. So I think people want to be trusted. And one of the big lines I have is there's a reason why some people run through walls for their leaders and others don't. It has almost nothing to do with raises and salaries. So, do you trust me? Do you have confidence in me? Do you think I'm smart or creative? Do you give me some latitude to make mistakes or to come up with new ideas? Yes, that's who people want to work for, and that'll make your business better. And almost most importantly, it takes just something off your plate mentally so that you can focus on really, more important things or things you need to be taken care of.
That's was
You
been a very
or
difficult lesson for me even was to let go and to realize that you can't do it all. Let somebody else do the heavy lifting. At least I know enough about whatever the project is that I don't have to get in the weeds, give the weeds to somebody else to go dig around in because that's not my thing.
Yeah.
But letting go. And I think for entrepreneurs, that's really a difficult thing, especially the small and solopreneurs. It's like you don't have to be solo, even if you're a solo. You can hire the marketing people. You can hire the this one and the that one. You don't have to be the accountant. You farm all that stuff out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You bet. And again, I know y'all, all your listeners, there's so many different levels of organization. They have thousands of employees to they have no employees. But yeah, I mean, now we live in a wonderful world where I can't believe we got this far without saying AI or Chat
Oh,
GPT.
I was coming up with that.
But you've got accountants, virtual assistants, employees, interns that you can have, and so you can focus on your expertise and strengths of how can you get your company to the next level instead of getting bogged down by things that other people can do that maybe are not your expertise
Yeah.
or that you don't want to do.
Yeah. Absolutely. So speaking of AI,
Yeah.
so I'm trying to avoid the AI issue. It's like, okay. So what do you think that leaders over, let's say, the age of 50, the boomers, okay, we know that we need to know AI. So what do this age group need to unlearn so that they can stay
Hmm.
relevant in today's world? It's like it's so fast and we know we need to know AI. What do we need to unlearn?
Everything. And here's why I say that. I think people who are not involved with it yet need to completely unwire your brain. What that means is this. Okay, see, I got to go to the grocery store. What do we need here? I got to check this out. No, stop. Before you do anything, go to ChatGPT or there's other ones out there as well. I'm not,
Any of them.
you know,
Pick your poison.
yeah, I'm not an official, spokesperson. So, and it's like, hey, what is the best way to keep an organized list? And can you please check for me online of who has specials this week and is the most cost effective to buy this at Walmart and this at Publix? Should I bulk buy this? In fact, now this is there just to let you know to blow people's minds away, is you can open your refrigerator door. You can take a picture, you can close your refrigerator door and say, what am I low on? And also what are the foods that you can make a great recipe out for dinner tonight? Because I don't think I have anything, but maybe you can, and then it'll go, boom. Well, if you want something healthy, blah, 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 this will take longer to make. Blah, 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 blah. And this is just in the simplest thing of you need to go to the grocery store. And everything that you do, you need to make a routine, maybe for the course of a week, of just stop. You know what? Instead of this, I'll just ask ChatGPT, or give you the phone version, online, whatever, and I'm going to ask Chat, what should I do here? What are your recommendations? And slowly but surely, you'll understand how to make great prompts. It'll understand you as a person, how old you are you single, are you healthy, or what are your favorite likes and dislikes? And it is just going to, and it is the greatest personal assistant, that's in the history of the planet.
It
So
absolutely is. It's so funny that you mentioned opening up your refrigerator. So I have and every other month I organize a group of women to go to lunch. It's called Ladies Let's Do Lunch. And I was telling them that I had nothing. I was craving a dessert and I have nothing. I have nothing in the house. I'm single here. I'll go out. And I told Chat I have some yogurt, I have a packet of hot chocolate mix, and I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 other things. I said, "Make what can you make?" And it gave me a recipe, and I told this to the ladies at lunch, and they were all like, "So what did it taste like?" And I go, "I haven't made it, but I'm going to, I promise you, and I've got until October 10th because we meet again October, and I haven't made it, so I've got to make that dessert." But
well, you can.
tell you what you can do.
Are you going to bring it to the next meeting, and they can all,
Oh, let them
and
yes.
then you can provide the feedback back to Chat or whichever whatever you use, and they can make the necessary adjustments. And it's and then certainly since we're in the world of of business, I mean, I'm talking like an expert. I'm not an expert.
Yeah.
Every single day, I'm like, oh my gosh, I never even thought that it can do that, or how dumb am I to still be doing it this way? So
Yes.
wow.
Wow. That's so awesome.
I mean, we're talking about the invention of the car, the internet, cell phone, we're talking,
AI.
earth-changing stuff.
It is awesome. So, Andy, you talk about the role of authentic connections. That's what I'm all about is authentic connections. And that's what it is when we're trying to grow our businesses. We're meeting these different people that we want to be our vendors, our customers, or whatever. And so, how do you see the role of authentic connections evolving in customer and employee relations?
Honestly, I think it's gonna get way more important, and it's because of the last topic I just talked about. You know, with everything with automation, AI, all these things are fantastic, wonderful, incredible, change the world. We're not gonna need to leave our home office anymore to do
You
anything.
don't now.
And yeah, and so we don't need to go next door to talk to our neighbor. It's just, we'll just text them, right? So that means that this is that it puts so much more of a fantastic opportunity on the emphasis of making connections, doing things for people, being in person, the creative opportunities we talked before, about what their favorite candy bar is or whatever it might be. So those are going to be more important. And I think the businesses that go too far on the side of automation technology, they're going to have some great leaps and bounds. They're going to do some wonderful things. But, and I will say this, it is an advantage, 'cause I know you have a lot of small business and entrepreneurs. It's an advantage for you that you stay on the side of the personal touch, because there's so many fantastic, aggressive thinking businesses that are gonna be doing great things over there, and they're gonna forget that people are people, okay? So understanding, remembering that their grandson just played in the Little League World Series, remembering that they just, "Yeah, we're gonna, yeah, oh, yeah, next month we're taking a trip to Italy, we're okay, great." Remembering that and say, "Oh, wow, so send me some pictures. What did you do? Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, you gotta check out this one place." What remembering those personal items and sending even something a personal item, that is what is going to be setting people apart, and that's how you can actually battle against larger corporations. You have the opportunity for personal touch that they don't.
That's very well said. So, if you could give a piece of advice to business owners about preparing their teams for the next 5 years, what kind of advice would you give them?
Okay, well, hate to reiterate the obvious, but I'm just going to stick with the AI, of
Yeah.
course. And I think that give them some latitude. Again, they might have 2 employees or 200. You have some really smart people working for you. Some of them are tech savvy, some aren't. But throw it out there of saying, you know what, hey, you know what? Why don't you take next Tuesday and not do your normal job? Take 8 hours and just go on this crazy tangent with AI and ChatGPT or whatever you want to do, of things that might help us as a company, or ideas of moving forward, or where's our industry going in the next 10 years? How is your job going to be impacted in the next 10 years? How can we make your job more efficient? How can we increase customer service levels, or any kind of crazy things? You do whatever you want. I can't wait to see what you find back,
I love
and
that idea.
have an experiment for on all of these different positions to do that. And people can come up with, wow, I just realized some great ideas on how I can totally save some time, or how we can do this better. Or, boy, there's a company, in Seattle, Washington that does what we do, and here's what they're doing already. Yeah, that's what we need to be doing. Okay. And so, yes, it's
That's
that.
brilliant. That is a
Um,
great idea. Okay, so all of the listeners out there who are hearing this, and you have a team, that is a brilliant idea. You take a day and say, "This is what your job is today. Forget your regular job. This is it," so that you're planning for the future. What a brilliant idea, Andy.
Yeah, and of course, these guys can bring it all the way, because you're gonna get floods of bring it all the way down to the just give me 3 bullet points
Granular. Yeah,
how to and how what steps do we need to take, and how much money would it take, because sometimes it's none, of course, to make this happen, and what's the timeline. They can do the whole thing for you.
do
Okay, you can
everything.
implement it.
Hey, if you have an 8-hour day, go for it. There's plenty you can
Yeah.
accomplish by asking that. Oh my gosh. So let me ask you this. You've got all these books out there. What is the legacy that you hope that your books and your teachings leave the next generation of leaders?
I just want to make a positive impact. I think I want people to smile from the Kiss Your Customer book. I want people to smile, and they're going to get some really cool creative ideas, and that can help their business and so forth. But in a weird sort of way, this is stepping back a lot. Yeah, I just want them to smile. I think that business is a serious thing. It's life or death for most of us entrepreneurs. It's blood, sweat, and tears, and there's a lot of pressure involved, and your mind goes 1,000 different ways. And I want them to be happy. I want them to be creative. I want to put a smile on their face. I want them to get back some love and excitement from the reasons why you originally said, "Wow, I'd love to have my own business someday." And now you get bogged down in all these crazy things that you're doing every day. I just want them to enjoy their work and their life some. And then on the leader side, somewhat similar, and I do say this, is that my number one goal is to have leaders less overwhelmed. I hate seeing leaders that are run to the ground, burned out. And by the way, sometimes it's an entrepreneur doing it for themselves.
I was,
It's
yeah. Mhm.
bosses or an organization that doesn't have enough resources and so forth. But I hate seeing leaders overwhelmed. So therefore, how can we prioritize and focus? Either your control, your schedule controls you. How can I develop, empower, and delegate to people so that I get my, have clarity on what I'm supposed to do? And so, yes, I truly want to help leaders not feel overwhelmed and get the most important things done and feel great about what you've done.
What do you think it cau and this is not on my questionnaire.
Yeah.
What do you think causes these leaders to be so stressed out in today's world?
Well, first of all, I mean, it's not easy out there. It's just not. I mean, and I don't, and we always say, this world, but I'm going to guess back in the 1920s, there's a lot of stressed out entrepreneurs back then too.
Yeah. Oh, I
And
know they were.
you know what I mean?
Wasn't that when
So
they were jumping out of the buildings because of the
yeah,
stock market?
yeah, they're right. That whole, stock
Somewhere
market,
back then, I don't know when it happened.
industrial revolution, and you
Yeah.
got machinery breaking
There's
down.
always gonna be stress out
It's
there.
always gonna be stress. It's not easy.
You
It's
have to learn
so.
how to cope.
I have all these things in my book about what leaders should do and what they shouldn't do and so forth. And it is so hard to be a great leader. Like we do it in spots. We mean well, but boy, you just get these things to do lists, and then customer complaints, and so many just quit on you, and you got technology issues, and
Oh,
it's hard out there. So that's why I just either want to put a smile on their face and try to help them feel less, overwhelmed. That's why those couple things are so big to me, because I will say this. From the bottom of my heart, I absolutely root for every single entrepreneur out there. We're all in this thing together, and I really just try to help.
that is Andy, so if somebody wants to get in touch with you, they want your books, they wanna hire you to speak, or
Yeah.
how do people reach you, Andy?
Pretty easy to find. There's the thing called Google is still out there, and so if you just put in Andy Masters in Google, I'll pop right up. But yeah, so Andy-Masters.com is my email address, and then Andy@Andy-Masters.com is my email. And but yeah, happy to and connect on LinkedIn, all the kind of great stuff as well. So yeah, look forward to hearing from people.
So
Absolutely.
let me ask you my final question. It is a signature question. I ask every guest this question. So if you listen to the show, you know what I'm going to be asking Andy. I'm going to say, can you share with us a story of how an opportunity presented itself to you because of a connection that you had?
Yeah, and in my industry, so it happens every day. It's, as a, author and professional speaker, that's how my business has just been able to roll over, 20 years and so forth. But in doing a lot of thinking, I mean, there's one that just absolutely just jumps out at me, and it's actually a story that I even share in my book as well. And so I said, 15 minutes or less, $15 or less. I'm a big believer in that. So I'm going to try to cut the story down. But basically, I did a program many years ago for one of the University of Michigan campuses, and after the program, my client, whose name was Marilyn, we went out to eat, and the restaurant did not have A&W root beer, and she was like, "You don't have A&W root beer?" And sorry, we just have regular beer and iced tea and stuff. And she was upset. Just give me an iced tea then. I'm like, my goodness gracious. Okay. So I just, wrote it down, put it in my phone. And anyway, she gives me a ride to the airport. I get home after midnight. I'm still kind of wired and crazy when I get off the plane. And so I get home, and in 15 minutes or less, $15 or less, I went straight to my computer and ordered a case of A&W root beer to be shipped directly to Marilyn's home address that arrived 2 business days later. Now, pretty cool. I know what you're thinking. All right. So, okay, great. That's great. So she referred you to all the other, Michigan campuses, right? I know. I know she brought you back the next year to do another program, right? No. In fact, over 3 years went by and I didn't hear a single word from Marilyn. I mean, I was used to that from women, but I mean, seriously, just give me, something,
So it was like,
I
hey,
was,
just send her the root beer.
yeah, I mean, I tracked it. I was like, did she actually get it? She got it. And so I finally got a phone call over 3 years later. And she said, Andy, you wouldn't believe what happened to me. I said, what happened? She remember that program you did for us a few years ago? I said, the next day I quit my job. I hated that place. It's like, oh my goodness. Okay. Well, hopefully you're a whole lot better now. So yeah. So I want to know are you with this completely different organization? I'm in charge of this event on October 26th. Want to know if you can come up and do another program for us? Totally different program, totally different organization. Went back up, did a program. Program went great. Zelda, we went to dinner afterwards. This time they actually did have A&W root beer, so she was in a good mood. And I said, you know what? I just have to ask this question. I mean, 3 years went by. I mean, thanks for remembering me and so forth. I mean, what did you do? Look me up in there. She's Andy, just stop. I've been waiting 3 years to tell you this. I still have 1 can of that A&W root beer in my refrigerator because nobody's ever done something for me that cool or that clever, unique, and I'll never forget it. And you know what she said? She said, "You see, Andy, we think you're a great speaker. You got a great program, but there's lots of great speakers out there with great programs. But I'll never forget what you did." And that right there was the business light bulb to me of as good as we think we are what we do. And there's some people on the line that have terrific businesses. You got a great price and a great product and a great service. Great. You could even be doing a good job and having a good year. But you know what? Somebody down the street can be doing the exact same thing and another great product, another great service. So what makes the difference? It's the little things, building relationships and keeping connections in this world. That is the gold nugget that we can have, especially in the world of entrepreneurship and small businesses that can battle and win against larger organizations and large corporations. So yeah, that's connections one I'll never forget, and it made a real impact on me.
That is so awesome. What a great story. I'm glad you put that in the book. That's a great story.
Yeah, it's in the book.
That's great. Well, I thank you for your time. It's been such a wonderful time catching up with you, Andy. I thank you to the audience for listening to me today. And Andy Masters, here we are with Success Through Connections. I hope that you'll remember first, you have to subscribe to the channel. We release a new episode every Tuesday. And remember, success does not happen in isolation. You absolutely have to reach out and make those connections because connections are today's currency and connections are the new power move. Talk to you next week. Let's connect.